Hello culinarians, it's Grellis the Soupsmith. Today's video, I wanted to talk to you about roux and other thickening agents. So roux are an equal part mixture of flour and a fat. Traditionally it's butter, but they can also use lard, oil, coconut, olive, things of that nature. I don't know much about making a roux with anything but butter, so I won't say much else about it. Honestly, it's the best and most traditional way. It tastes better to me. I don't know if gluten-free flour works, but I'm sure there's other ways out there you can look up and things you can find. You can also use other thickening agents like agar-agar or cornstarch if you were looking for a gluten-free or vegan option, but you know me guys at this point. I love fat, I love flavor, and I don't mind gluten or animal products. The four most common types of roux are white, blonde, brown, and dark brown, with white being cooked the least and dark brown being cooked the most. White and blonde roux are generally used in sauces, soups, and chowders. If you're shooting for a dark brown or even a brown roux, I would suggest using something like olive oil with a higher smoke temperature so you don't end up burning it and adding an off flavor to your soup. If you've seen my other videos, you might be thinking, could I add in spices to the butter as I melt it before I add in the flour for the roux? And the answer is yes, absolutely. This is a great way to add flavor to whatever you're thickening. As a rule of thumb, I do a pound of butter to a pound of flour for every gallon of whatever I'm thickening. I work in large-scale kitchens, so we're generally doing large batches. I will break down a smaller conversion of this later for you. You might want to thin it out if you're going to use a thickening agent like cheese or an immersion blender. You want to bring whatever liquid you're going to thicken with the roux to a boil or a simmer in order to activate it. A cornstarch slurry can be used if you wish to avoid using gluten, but you're going to want to make sure that it's as thick as possible. The more water you add, the less thickening it's going to be. So you want to make sure it's also boiling when you add it in, otherwise it won't activate. And a cornstarch slurry will also add a sheen to the product, so a lot of Asian sauces you'll see have that shiny consistency to them, and that generally means they've used a cornstarch slurry to thicken them. Agar-agar, as I mentioned earlier, is a plant-based thickening product. If you want to look up, for being vegan or avoiding animal products, it's something to research. I just wanted to touch upon it, but I don't really know anything more about it. I believe it's made from seaweed. To make an Alfredo, you're going to need a sturdy pot, a whisk, 1 ounce of butter and your seasonings, 1 ounce of flour, a pint of milk, and 2 ounces of cheese. So first we're going to start by melting the butter with your pot. That'll help. About a 5 or 6 for the butter. Once your butter is melted, add in your spices, let them bloom for about 30 seconds. Stirring vigorously. Add in your flour. Continue to stir until it starts to clump up. Next, add in your milk and stir continuously until it comes to a boil and starts to thicken. Once it's started to come to a boil and thicken, add in your cheese and continue to stir until it is melted. You can adjust your Alfredo however you want. If you want it thicker, add in more cheese or let it continue to cook. And if you like it to be thinner than it is, just add in a little bit more milk or cream. And then you can serve it however you like. I'm having it with some spaghetti tonight. Thanks for watching my video, and remember to always cook what you like and like what you cook.